All right, friends, you ready for another amazing episode? I hope so, because I'm going to dive in. I feel like it's time for another little rant. Maybe it's not a complete rant, but it is a little bit. There was an incident at a local high school that happened a few weeks ago, and I want to talk about it. So here I go. Maybe I'll put the article in the show notes. I'll link that so you can read it and maybe watch the video for yourself. So, on the first day of school, a high school, literally about 15-20 minutes away from my house, a high school teacher, chemistry teacher, went on a little rant. And I believe she knew, but one of her students was filming her. The student looks like the video was very close, and so I believe I read in one of the reports that the teacher did know that she was being filmed and still went on this rant that she said. So I'm going to kind of tell you some of the things that she said in this rant, and you can go watch the video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. So it all begins with her talking about COVID. So this is the first day of school, right? She's talking about COVID. She told the kids, so some of these things I'll be paraphrasing and some of them will be direct quotes, so that I'm not like taking this out of context, but just so you can kind of see what she was saying. So she told the kids because they won't all get vaccinated, that we're just keeping the variants and this is never going to end. It could end in 5 seconds if people got vaccinated. She goes on to tell the kids that if she is put at risk because of all, she is put at risk because of all the students. So that was her first thing, right? Just like, all of you should get vaccinated because you're putting me at risk. Then she goes on to bash Donald Trump and tells the students how much she hates him. She goes into detail about the reasons why she hates him and says, I don't care. I don't think she says, I don't care. I'm trying to quote this correctly. So she does say, go on and tattle on me to the freaking admins. They don't give a crap. So a kid in the back at this time then shouts, this is a chemistry class. She doesn't respond to that, and she continues to go on. She told the kids to turn off Fox News and ask if their parents listen to Fox News. She tells the kids again that this is her classroom, and if they are going to put her at risk, the kids are going to hear about it. She says, because she has to be here doesn't mean she has to be happy about the fact that there are kids coming in here with their variants that could possibly get me or my family sick. That's rude, and I'm not going to pretend it's not. She goes on to say, most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. A kid says something in the back, and she tells the student that they can believe what they want to believe, but keep it quiet in here because I'm probably going to make fun of you. She then goes on to give a list of all the things that they should avoid and tell them that if they disagree with her, to get the hell out. She continues on her rant and tells the kids that if they think different than her, that they are the problems with the world. I believe that was something with climate change, that if they don't believe in climate change, she swears and says, get the heck out of my classroom again. And then she dives in talking about if you're homophobic or not. And if you're homophobic, to get the heck out of there. She swears a few times and then tells them that if they say anything about, I'm just going to say alphabet people, but like they wrote LGBTQIA+, I think it's I, that she will make their life a living hell. The mother of the kid who was filming turned in the footage into the news, and the teacher is now on administrative leave while they are investigating her. So, I am not getting into the politics of pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine. I'm not here to talk about masks or no masks, Trump or no Trump, climate change or no climate change, or any of the other things, variants or any of the other things that she was talking about. LGBT stuff, nothing. I'm not getting into any of that. What I want to talk about today is that you have options. That this is what our kids are being subjected to. She is telling them, I'm going to make fun of you if you believe differently than me. I will make your life a living hell if you think differently than I do. Your parents are dumber than you are, right? Like, those are the things that she is telling them that is just our kids are being exposed to within the public school. And I live in quote unquote Happy Valley, Utah, where I think a lot of people, they really do think the best of a lot of people in a very good way. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but in a really good way. But why would we want to put our kids through that? And a lot of times we do it because we think we don't have any other options. Well, that's what we do. We put our kids in school, and that's just what happens in school, that they're exposed to pornography and they're exposed to drugs and they're exposed to bullying. They're exposed to teachers threatening them. No, you don't have to put your kids in that. You do not have to have your kids be threatened by anyone. Can you imagine if your neighbor came into a room with closed doors with your child and told them the way you believe is stupid and wrong, swears at them, tells them that, like, your parents are dumb, all these things. If you disagree with me with all these different things, I'm going to make your life a living hell. If your neighbor did that to you, you would probably call the cops. You would tell your neighbor, like, you're not welcome in my home. Don't talk to my child anymore. This is nonsense. This is not okay that you just said that. But because this is a teacher, are kids just really supposed to take this? Had a child not been filming it, would anything have happened with this teacher? I've read other reports where this is common, that this teacher is like this. So even before COVID, that this teacher was very forceful with her opinion. And if you disagree with her, you're wrong and it's dumb and she's going to make your life crazy if you disagree with her, right? So there are so many other options out there that are safer environment for your kids. If you really want your kid to earn an accredited high school diploma, you can do that without going to the high school. Your kid doesn't even need an accredited high school diploma. Not only did a few of my children skip high school, and it looks like the rest of them will be not doing high school, but so many of my kids' friends did not do high school and are still getting awesome scores to get into amazing colleges. A lot of them are getting full ride scholarships because they are such well-rounded, amazing kids doing awesome things with their lives. So it is not necessary for your kid to get a high school diploma. Another thing I hear is, well, what about friends and all the high school experience? Friends. Your kids can have friends without going to high school. They can have high school experiences, quote unquote, without being in high school. That was one of the things I wanted to create. I did a prom last year. I have other moms who are like, yes, we're on board, we're going to help. So I'm creating other dances and other events. And I'm like, yes, if I have teens, I'm going to create these things. I'm willing to do the work. And I'm going to create these experiences for my kids that I think would just be fun. I do not have to have my kids be in a high school setting to have those experiences. I know a lot of people want their kids to have high school experience, right? But if this is the kind of stuff that is going on in high school, I am absolutely okay with my kids not experiencing it. By saying no to this kind of bullying that a teacher does and belittling and threatenings, by saying no to that, I get to say yes to things that matter to my family. I get to say yes to experiencing more family time. I get to say yes to letting my kids explore what they're interested in instead of somebody else telling me that my kid needs to learn X, Y, Z, even though my kid doesn't even care about it. By saying no to public school education and putting my kids through this with teachers, I get to say yes to teaching my kids values and morals that are important to my family. I get to say yes to putting my kids in a safe environment. It's so interesting that sometimes we tolerate behavior by certain people. Have you ever had this experience where you go with a family member that you know is not very safe, that maybe they say ugly words to you and unkind things, and it's like, well, they're family. You don't have to put yourself in unsafe situations. Just because it is a school does not mean you have to put your child in those types of situations. I just want to put it out there that you have options. Obviously, I have got lots of them. I know tons of different options you can do instead of putting your kid in public school where this kind of stuff seems to be happening more and more. Of teachers threatening. I mean, we saw that, if you saw that last year during COVID, I think it was California, where teachers were on a Zoom call. They didn't realize parents were on it, got recorded. They were dropping all sorts of terrible language, bashing the parents, saying how stupid the parents were. I saw it last year with different teachers telling that parents are stupid, you can't teach your kids, all these things. It's not true. And I will say this really quick, that I am not against teachers because I know really good people out there trying to make a difference. But just because I have one or two really good teachers doesn't mean I want to have my kids experience the other ones that are not safe, that are threatening my kids. And then it'd be a teacher against a student, like who's telling the truth and what's really going on here. So I'm not against, like, school is not the devil and teachers are not the devil. There are good teachers, just like there are teachers who are not very good. And I don't want to have to put my kid in a place where they have to endure teachers like this that are threatening them, mocking their beliefs, making fun and telling them that their parents are dumb and all those types of things. So you do have options. I have so many episodes about school stuff you could do. There are online schools. There are colleges that love homeschool kids. There are internships and entrepreneur courses and all these different things. Coding and all this stuff that does not require you to have a high school diploma. If you, let's say you are the parent and you get to decide what is best for your child. You can take your kids right out of school. You are the parent. I want you to remember that you are in control. You are in charge of that safety with them. You can homeschool even if you work. I have a friend who works a lot, and so she actually just hired another girl who used to homeschool that she comes over a few times a week and just helps her kids 2 to 3 hours in the morning. I know other people who have a nanny that will help them with their homeschool. Myself, I work just in the afternoons and I work around our school schedule so that we homeschool in the mornings, and in the afternoons when I work, that's when my kids do their own stuff, right? So you can work and homeschool. You can have a hobby and homeschool. You can have a new baby and homeschool. If you want it bad enough, you can figure out how to make homeschooling work no matter what you have going on in your life. I have talked about in so many episodes of different things I've gone through with health stuff. Karen on an episode talked about how she had cancer and still was able to homeschool. I've had new babies and homeschool. We have moved and homeschooled. My husband travels and we homeschool. Like, I work, right? Like, all these things. You can always find out a way if you really want it. So if you are tired of hearing stories like this in the news and having your kids go and experiencing these threatenings and experience the bullying that goes on, and now it's not just students, it's coming from teachers as well. If you're done with that, I just want to empower you that you have options, that you do not have to sit and take it anymore, that you can stand up and pull your kids out and then pick what's the best education for your family. Friends, I did end up going on a rant today. I just want you to know that you can create whatever it is, what you want in your family. And if you agree with the teacher, then fantastic. If those are what, like, you, like, your values and you want those things. But even if, like, I agreed with her on what she said, I just don't like the threatenings. Like, if you don't do this and like these things, I'm going to make your life a living hell and all those types of things, right? I don't like that attitude. I can imagine, like, if I showed up in my own family like that, of like, if you don't clean your room, I'm going to mess you up, right? Like, it would not be a safe environment. And I work really hard to be a safe parent and create a safe environment. So why in the world would I expose my children intentionally to these unsafe environments where people in authority are threatening my children and trying to tell them that your parents' beliefs are stupid and this is the right way to believe? So that is my rant for today. I get a little worked up over this. I want you guys to know that if you really want to figure out how to homeschool and things that are being taught into our schools, that I just don't like the things that are being brought into school and what they're teaching children. And we talked about this the other day in scriptures, and it warns us, and I don't remember the scripture off the top of my head, but they will call good evil and evil good. And I'm starting to see that being really shoved in our school systems, where morals are being told that they're wrong and that they're bad, and other things like socialism is being called good. And so you have options, and you do not have to keep your children in there. Obviously, I'm here to help you. I do free calls. If anybody is concerned about this, you can go onto my website, coachmegthomas.com, and you can sign up for a free session if you are scared and you have a high schooler that you want to bring home, or you have a junior high, or even a younger kid who you're like, we've always planned on doing high school and now I'm kind of freaking out. What am I going to do? So please know I am your cheerleader and your champion, and I'm here to support you to like what you're going to do and to help you throughout this process. But just know that you do not, by saying no to unsafe environments, means you get to say yes to keep putting your kids in safe environments. So remember, you are the parent and you are in charge. Love you, friends. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time.